Hello and welcome to BRB Time, where I will be highlighting Star Wars: The Old Republic, a game that came out at the tail end of 2011 for the PC as an MMORPG. I will be discussing the content that the game offers for both new players and old players while going over the character creation, PvE, PvP, and pros and cons. At the end, I'll make sure to wrap up with a decision on whether or not I believe new players should buy or just try this game. New players who have subscribed to Star Wars: The Old Republic are granted a free 60 or 65 character, which allows them to skip past the lower levels of the game. At creation, a player is allowed to choose between the Imperials or the Republic, which mostly decide the color of the lightsaber you will choose, or the alignment of your character. While the classes on either side vary graphically, they function almost identically, creating balance between the two factions. For example, a Jedi Knight and a Sith Juggernaut look very different, but function the exact same in combat. The balancing this game achieves allows both factions to function without interacting with the enemy, and gives room for unique storytelling that we'll go over later in this video. The character customization, while not groundbreaking, allows for a wide variety of character types, ranging from very small to very large. The game allows for variations of scars and complexions across the many races available to play, with each class choice. While the sliders give many options, I find it very easy to make a character I enjoy and begin playing. This holds true for both gender options. Throughout the story of the game, the Old Republic will take you to various worlds that exist in the Star Wars universe. The Old Republic does a wonderful job of designing the locations that you will be traveling to, from the lush green world of Tython to the red sands of Korriban. It actually feels as if you are experiencing these incredible worlds from the series lore, and despite the quality of the graphics, I ran into very few frame drops in locations. I would venture to say that as far as MMORPGs go, this game is fairly well optimized. Because each class has its own unique story, the planets you arrive on may be entirely different or similar depending upon which class you begin with. This allows subsequent playthroughs to be engaging and interesting, even for players who are veterans.
Spend enough time on a backwater like Ord Mantell, you almost forget what a civilized planet's supposed to look like. I did my officer training here, back before I was deployed to Ord Mantell. There was still a fair bit of reconstruction going on then. Rebuilding things the Imperials destroyed.
For people who are fans of the original Knights of the Old Republic series, I am pleased to say that this game has a strong point that is very heavily invested in storytelling. As I mentioned before, each class has its own story that begins on its own unique world. As a result, the characters that you will come across and the companions that you will make will vary depending on which class you started out with. The companions that you meet all have their own likes and dislikes, questlines, and opinions on the actions that you take throughout the story. A few of them even have romance options, true in the BioWare style.
There'll have to be enough. Now if you'll excuse me, I seem to have a guest.
Although BioWare has done very little to innovate the way questing is done in this game, or make it unique against some of the other MMOs that exist out there, the game takes effort to make all of the quests fully voice-acted cutscenes. This goes a long way to make the game seem more interesting and lively, even when your quests themselves are not as such. All of the voice actors for the game are top-notch, and they do a wonderful job of conveying the characters that they are voice acting for. Another portion of the game that BioWare has done a wonderful job of presenting to the player base are dungeons. They are handled in a way that's very similar to dungeons in most other games, where you are put into a party with other players and are tasked with doing specific quests while inside of an instance. While the objectives you receive may not be particularly interesting, the party members you take into a dungeon makes the dialogue dynamic and unique, radically swaying the conclusion. Depending on the options you pick by your party members, you are able to take light or dark side endings. This creates a reason to go back and replay dungeons and raids, specifically to see alternative dialogue options that you may have missed prior.
All clear in here too, huh? Nice work. My men have finished securing the lower levels. Even captured a few prisoners.
You didn't take any prisoners, Lieutenant. The enemy was relentless. You and your men were forced to kill them all. Understand?
Understood. Guess it's all just cleanup from here. Gonna be a pretty major job, too. Anyway, like I said, the rest of the temple is clear, so you're good to head back to Colonel Derek. Until next time.
The Old Republic offers a fun and relaxed player versus player environment. It does this by having both an active unranked and ranked population at many hours of the day. The PvP is divided by faction for many of the war zones, pitting the Empire against the Republic. This allows players to go toe-to-toe against their class counterparts, such as a Sith Juggernaut versus a Jedi Guardian. Because the opposing factions are so balanced, large battles often come down to the wire, making each match extremely satisfying whether you win or lose. Additionally, the game boasts a fairly large variety of maps for any newcomer, helping stave off the boredom of PvP that other MMORPGs might have, each map with its own game type to play. With the PvP being so fun and easily accessible, it is something I could easily recommend to anyone interested in learning. On the topic of PvP, the Old Republic offers a game type not offered in other MMO of similar style. This is offered in the form of Galactic Starfighter, or GSF for short, a space fighter simulator game against other players. GSF is an extremely fun feature of the Old Republic that I firmly believe could be sold as its own game. The level of detail that went into this game type is astounding, and I personally have spent countless hours shooting and getting shot down by the many talented players that play far more than myself. The game type features a wide variety of customization that allows players to have their own ship and customize it to the way that they like, showing the type of skills they have earned in any specific ship. Also, you're allowed to put different weapon types and different secondary weapons and armor on your ship, changing the way it plays radically. Despite the many things I greatly enjoy about Star Wars: The Old Republic, there are a few weaknesses that hold it back from becoming what it should become. Most notably, the speed at which content is added to the game is incredibly slow. Some players have stated it has been 2 whole years since they've gotten a new raid. Additionally, while most quests can be done in a party, class quests must be done alone, which ruins the fun of partying together in a group of friends. The game also has a few odd bugs here and there, such as mounts moving at different frame rates from the rest of the game and so on, but aside from that, I enjoy most of the game. So with everything out of the way, we've come to the final point of this video. Should you pick this game up? To you, I will say absolutely. Star Wars: The Old Republic is an amazing experience for anyone interested in the universe, or for someone just looking for a new game. The community is incredibly nice, the content is fun, and most importantly, it's Star Wars. I know a lot of people have said that it's basically just World of Warcraft with the Star Wars paint on it, but to that I have to ask, what exactly is the problem with that? World of Warcraft is an incredibly popular game that is incredibly successful. Why would I not want to give my World of Warcraft characters a lightsaber and run around pretending I'm a Jedi? I don't see any problem with that at all. So, to those people I will say, you're not wrong. If you're looking for a good game that's an MMORPG, that's in the same vein as WoW, has the same sort of style, but you like the Star Wars universe, then the Old Republic is the perfect game for you. At launch, I know that it had a really poor free-to-play options. If I remember correctly, you couldn't level past 15 and you couldn't chat. They have made it so that you can now level as a free-to-play character to level 50. And you can chat and you can get mounts and sprint and stuff, all that. But it's a little bit later than paid players. So I would even recommend, as a free-to-play player, that you check the game out and just see how much you like it. If you're a fan of the old Knights of the Old Republic games, these games are extremely similar, except now you can do it with other players. So that's all I can really say about it. I recommend picking this game up and having some fun with it. So now that we're at the end of the video, I want to give a shout outs to the friend of mine who bought me a sub for this game. I was not playing any MMOs at the time, and he went ahead and bought me a 2-month sub of the Old Republic. So if you're listening, thanks for buying me that. I appreciate it. I've had a wonderful time with it. And if you want to play sometime, hit me up and we can play some PvP or whatever. That's all I do. So thanks for watching, and I will see you next time.